I never thought the person who'd tear my life apart would be the woman my father chose to love. I'm 19, still trying to figure out who I am, what I want to do with my future, how to navigate college and independence, and this strange halfway world between childhood and adulthood. But nothing in my short life could have prepared me for the emotional storm that hit me like a brick wall when Sarah, my stepmother, looked me dead in the eyes and accused me of stealing from her. Let me take you back. My parents divorced when I was 12. It wasn't some explosive, messy thing. No screaming matches, no bitter court battles. They just unraveled. Quietly. Like two people on different trains heading in opposite directions. It hurt, of course it did, but I got through it. My mom and I grew closer. And my dad, well, we stayed connected too. He was still dad, still present, still trying. Then 2 years ago, he married Sarah. She was sleek and polished, always perfectly put together. She spoke in that soft, syrupy tone that always felt just a bit too sweet. At first, I told myself to give her a chance. I mean, this woman made my dad smile again. I wasn't going to ruin that. We weren't close, but we were civil. I didn't expect love or warm hugs. I just hoped we could coexist peacefully. I was wrong. Last week was her birthday. My dad, generous as ever, gifted her a diamond necklace that looked like it belonged in a royal vault. I saw it once, glittering against her neck at the dinner table. She made a whole show of it, flipping her hair and laughing just a bit too loud when anyone complimented it. I remember thinking it must have cost more than my tuition. 2 days later, everything changed. I had dropped by the house to do laundry since my apartment washer was busted. Nothing unusual. I'd done it dozens of times. I was folding towels in the living room when Sarah came storming in like a thundercloud. Her eyes were wild. Her voice cracked like a whip. "Where is it?" she hissed. I blinked at her, confused. "Where is what?" "My necklace." "Don't play dumb." And just like that, the accusation started. She said I was jealous, that I'd always resented her, that I'd snuck into their bedroom and taken the necklace like some petty little thief. I couldn't even speak at first. I just stood there, stunned, my hands shaking around a half-folded towel. "I didn't take anything," I said. "I swear, I haven't even been in your room." But she wasn't listening. Her voice got louder, more frantic. She demanded I empty my pockets. Show her my bag. I did it, even though my dignity was splintering with every second. There was nothing there, obviously, but it didn't matter. Because then my dad walked in, and I watched his face as Sarah laid it all out. Watched the flicker of confusion, then concern, and finally, that horrible hesitation. The pause. The doubt. He asked me, gently, if I was absolutely sure I hadn't seen it. Maybe I moved it by accident. I felt like someone had just poured ice water down my spine. He was supposed to know me. Believe me, I was his daughter, his only child. But instead, he stood there, trying to keep the peace, as if this was just some little misunderstanding and not his wife accusing me of grand theft with zero evidence. Sarah wanted to search my apartment, my car, my life. I couldn't take it anymore. I left. I didn't scream or cry, not until I got to my car. Then everything poured out in the safety of the driver's seat. Rage, confusion, heartbreak. I couldn't understand how it had come to this. How a woman I barely tolerated had so quickly turned my own father against me. The next morning, I woke up hoping, stupidly, that maybe it had all been a dream. That I'd get a text from my dad saying they'd found the necklace stuffed under a sweater or fallen behind the dresser. That he was sorry for ever doubting me. Instead, I got silence. And then, worse than silence. Sarah started posting on social media. Not naming me directly, of course, but anyone with half a brain could figure it out. She wrote about how some people will betray you in your own home, and you think you know someone until they steal from you. She even posted a black and white photo of herself in the necklace with the caption, "Cherish what you have. You never know when it'll be taken." I felt like I was being publicly lynched without ever having a chance to defend myself. Family friends began messaging me, cautiously, asking if everything was okay. One even offered to lend me money in case I was going through something. That one stung the most. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to slander Sarah, but I also couldn't let people think I was some kind of jewel thief. So I said it was all a misunderstanding, that it would blow over. Except it didn't. It got worse. Sarah told my dad she didn't want me in the house anymore, that until the necklace was found, or until I confessed, she couldn't feel safe around me. Safe. As if I were some kind of threat. And the worst part? My dad didn't push back. He tried to keep a foot in both worlds, asking me to just think really carefully. Are you sure you didn't move it? Like maybe I blacked out and sleepwalked into their bedroom, stole it, and buried it in the backyard. Every time he asked me that, I felt another piece of our bond snap and fall away. I stopped going over. I stopped answering Sarah's smug posts with silence. I blocked her. I even told my dad I needed space. His response: I understand, but Sarah's really upset. She just needs to feel heard. He was more concerned about the feelings of the woman who falsely accused me than about the daughter whose name was being dragged through the mud. I started having panic attacks. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't concentrate. I'd wake up from nightmares where I was on trial in front of my entire family, and no one would believe me, no matter how loudly I screamed the truth. I even started to doubt myself. Did I touch the necklace? Could I have brushed it off a table by accident? No, I hadn't even been in their bedroom. But that's what happens when people you trust treat you like a liar long enough. You begin to question your own memory, your own reality. My mom was furious when she found out. She wanted to storm over and confront Sarah and my dad directly. But I begged her not to. The last thing I needed was another battlefield. I already felt like a prisoner in a war I didn't start. I thought about just buying a similar necklace to make it stop, even though I couldn't afford it, even though it would be admitting guilt I didn't own. That's how desperate I became. But I didn't. I held my ground. Because somewhere in the fog of confusion and guilt, I still had one thing left: the truth. I didn't take that necklace. And if I had to lose my relationship with my father to hold on to that truth, then so be it. A few more days passed. The silence from my dad was deafening. No messages. No missed calls. Just a void where my father used to be. Then, completely out of nowhere, something changed everything. I was at the local shopping center, doing what I'd been doing a lot lately, aimlessly wandering, trying to distract myself, trying to pretend I didn't care. That's when I saw her. Through the window of a quiet corner cafe, sitting at a table with a man I didn't recognize. There was Sarah. I almost kept walking. The sight of her made my stomach turn. But then something stopped me. Something about her body language. She looked nervous, twitchy. She kept glancing around like she was afraid someone might see her. That's when I saw it. She reached into her handbag and pulled out a small black velvet box. My heart practically stopped. It looked exactly like the jewelry box my dad had shown me the night he bought the necklace. Same size, same soft corners, same subtle logo on the front. I ducked behind a display and watched as she handed the box across the table to the man. He opened it, peeked inside, nodded, then slipped it into his jacket pocket like it was nothing. They exchanged a few more words, and then he left. No hugs. No handshake, no smile, just a transaction. I stood there frozen, nausea creeping into my throat. Without even thinking, I pulled out my phone and snapped a few blurry photos through the cafe window. Sarah handing over the box, his hand taking it, his face, her face. It was all there. Not perfect, but clear enough. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to cause a scene. I didn't want to confront her. I was too afraid of what I might say, or what she might try to accuse me of next. So I waited until she left, and then I called my dad. My voice was shaking. I didn't even try to explain over the phone. I just said, "Please, I need to talk to you. In person. Right now." To his credit, he didn't hesitate. He met me outside the shopping center 10 minutes later. The moment he saw my face, pale and panicked, he looked terrified. "What happened?" he asked, reaching for me like I was a child again. I pulled out my phone, showed him the photos, told him everything I'd seen, and watched his face fall apart. There was confusion first, then disbelief, then anger, and finally, something worse, shame. We didn't say much on the drive back to the house. The silence was thick, tense. I could feel the weight of everything pressing down on him. His doubts, his guilt, his realization that the daughter he nearly cut out of his life might have been telling the truth all along. When we got there, Sarah was already home. She looked up from the kitchen as we walked in, clearly surprised to see both of us, and especially surprised to see me. She opened her mouth to speak, probably to ask why I was there, but my dad raised a hand. "Where were you this afternoon?" he asked quietly. Sarah blinked. "I was out. Errands. Did you meet anyone?" She hesitated, just for a second, but it was enough. "No," she said finally. And that was it. That was all he needed. He pulled out his phone, held up the photos, and said, "Then explain this." The color drained from her face so fast, it was like watching ink vanish from a canvas. Her eyes darted between me, my dad, and the screen. She didn't speak for what felt like minutes. Then she stammered something about lighting. Photoshop, how it wasn't what it looked like. But the look on my father's face told her it was over. He asked again, quietly but firmly, "Where's the necklace, Sarah?" And this time, she broke. Sarah's shoulders slumped. Her eyes filled with tears, but there was no strength behind them. Just fear, guilt, and the crushing realization that she was caught, and there was no way out. She whispered, barely audible, "I took it. I took the necklace." My dad didn't say a word. He just stared at her like he was seeing her for the first time, as if the woman he married had suddenly become a stranger. Sarah kept talking, her words stumbling over each other like they couldn't get out fast enough. She said she never meant for it to go this far, that the necklace had been at her friend's house all along, that she hadn't lost it or had it stolen. She had hidden it. On purpose. Why? Because she wanted me out of the picture. She admitted, through sobs, that she never liked me being around, that every time I visited, she felt like she was second in my dad's life, that my presence was a reminder of his first family, that no matter how hard she tried, she always felt like I was closer to him than she ever could be. So she did the unthinkable. She created a lie so vicious it nearly destroyed everything. She thought if she accused me of stealing something valuable, my dad would finally take her side, that I would stop coming around, that she'd have him all to herself. But the plan spiraled, and when she saw how devastated I was, and how torn my dad had become, she panicked. She didn't know how to reverse it without getting caught. So she waited, tried to retrieve the necklace quietly, but she never counted on me seeing her. When she finally stopped talking, the silence in the room was unbearable. My dad turned to me, and in a voice that was both broken and firm, he said, "I'm so sorry. I should have believed you." I nodded, but I couldn't say anything. I was too full of everything. Anger, sadness, relief, betrayal, exhaustion. My whole body felt like it was vibrating with emotion. Then my dad turned to Sarah and told her to get out. Not later. Not tomorrow. Right now. She protested, begged, cried. But he didn't waver. He told her she had violated the very foundation of trust, not just with me, but with him. And that trust couldn't be fixed with an apology. He told her he needed time, space, and that for now, their relationship was over. Sarah packed a bag and left that night. She didn't look at me as she walked past. I didn't care. Her tears didn't mean anything anymore. After she was gone, my dad and I sat at the kitchen table for hours. He kept apologizing, over and over, as if trying to erase every doubt he'd ever let creep in. I told him I needed time too, that I forgave him, but I couldn't just forget how close I came to being pushed out of his life. In the days that followed, things were fragile. He kept calling, texting, checking in, and for the first time in weeks, I answered. Eventually, he asked if I'd come back to visit the house. Just for dinner. No, Sarah. Just him and me. I said yes. It was awkward at first. The house felt different. Not like home. But my dad tried, he really did. He made my favorite meal, played our old music, even brought out the photo albums we used to laugh over when I was a kid. We're rebuilding now. Slowly. Carefully. As for Sarah, I don't know what's next for her. She's been reaching out, sending long messages full of apologies and excuses. I've read a few, but I haven't responded, because I don't owe her forgiveness. Maybe someday I'll find the space in my heart to fully move on. But not yet. This experience changed me. It taught me that trust, once broken, can take a lifetime to rebuild. That family should be your safest place, not a battlefield. That sometimes standing up for yourself means walking away, even when it hurts. And that no matter what someone tries to take from you, your peace, your name, your place in the family, the truth will always find a way to shine through.